Now, this may be kind of ironic coming from a very small creator like myself, but I think creating content for YouTube and Twitch is one of the most fascinating things anyone can do. Now, let me explain, but before I do, I just want to ask you to like and subscribe here, and maybe check out my other socials while you're at it. I know you're tired from hearing this from literally everyone, but from a person like me, just one like and subscription would be very helpful on my journey. Now, let me explain just how I got here. Think about it. Your channel is like a child that you raise that eventually becomes a reflection of yourself. Everyone starts with 0 subscribers, views, and likes, but everyone posts their first cringe video and eventually sees their channel grow. Just like children, they all grow up. Some grow up fast, others very slowly, some eventually grow out old interests and eventually get into new ones, while others keep the same old stuff. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. If you're a person getting only 10 views max on a video and have like 5 subscribers, with all 5 of them being your family or friends, you can still feel the joy of posting these videos or live recording these streams to some sort of audience. I mean, after all, people only do these things because they want to. Now let me talk to you about my journey to this position. I always loved watching videos as a kid, growing up on even some of the most baby stuff when I was a young child. Good times. As I grew older, just like some channels, I outgrew my old interests and grew new ones. This time was about 2018 or 2019. My taste at the time on YouTube was kind of non-existent. I would just watch whatever was trending, nothing wrong with that, I guess. However, one main interest I had was, what if I started my own channel? At the time, I was pretty hesitant. Some thoughts in my mind were, oh, I can't have my name or face being thrown around on the internet, especially at this young age. I just wasn't brave enough at the time. However, good old 2020 came around, and this is where my motivation first started. Obviously, with school being shut down and us having a lot of free time, this left me with more time to watch YouTube. One of the trending videos I saw over quarantine was in April or May, I believe. It was some clips of Dream and some of his friends playing on a server together, which obviously was eventually the Dream SMP. While this video got me interested in playing Minecraft, I also learned that this whole thing was filled with clips from one of Dream's Twitch streams. I did some research and I was pretty fascinated at the whole thing. I had thoughts of starting streaming, however, I was just too much of a dumbass at the time to figure out how it worked. However, I still had a bit of motivation to do a YouTube channel, so later that year, I think around Christmas or maybe early 2021, I made my first channel. I don't really know what to say about it. It was literally just like 5 or 6 low quality screen recordings of me playing some Game Boy Advance games on an emulator. I was a bit of a tech nerd. However, at the time, I thought it was some pretty solid content. I think one of my highest views I had in a video was like 10 views. I want to say it was terrible, but I know I can't do that to my younger self. Anyway, that was pretty much my last time creating content for a while. However, fast forward to mid or late 2022, and the source for my next inspiration was pretty much from the same place, Minecraft. I was with a friend and we were watching YouTube together. The next video recommendation that popped up was this makeshift documentary about the Dream SMP. While the video itself was pretty entertaining and kind of nostalgic of 2020, the real draw for me was the backstories of some of these streamers, mainly Tommy Innit and Tubbo's growth on Twitch and YouTube. Both of them pretty much had a long grind to get to where they were, constantly streaming and publishing videos to 0 viewers and rewatching their own content just to boost analytics. This kind of ignited a spark in me that told me anyone could do these kinds of things. Maybe I could reach that level as well. I was ready to get started. The only problem was my gear. I only had a MacBook from like 2018 and a 720p monitor. I also needed a microphone because the MacBook microphone was just straight up garbage. So while I waited for an upgrade, I began researching and working on what I could do. I downloaded Twitch Studio, which has now been shut down, created all my scenes, and gave myself some decent branding. I can't find my old branding anymore since I'm now on a Windows PC and this was all done on a MacBook. However, the design was this type of blueprint that was shaped to the outline of a Game Boy Advance. It was pretty cool in my opinion. As my microphone came in during the spring of 2023, I started streaming on Twitch. I was kind of expecting to stream to 0 viewers and followers for some time, so I spread the word in some Discord servers and kindly asked for some views. Overall, I ended up getting around 4 or 6 followers and at most 2 to 5 viewers on each stream. However, I was kind of disappointed. I continued a routine of streaming almost every day for about 2 weeks when I kind of just gave up. In the meantime, I created a whole new YouTube page as I eventually built a PC in mid-2023 and I was enjoying it a ton. On my page, I posted one video. It was a speedrun for a random Minecraft item, that one being coal. I stole the idea from Cameron18 since he was blowing up at the time. The video I think got at most 20 views. I think I had like 3 subscribers at the time, and one of them was my other Google account, and one of them was my friend, I think. I don't know why I didn't post more, but I didn't post anymore, and I pretty much left it alone. It sits dormant to this day. Now, fast forward to late 2024, and around that time, I was introduced to Rocket League, and I remember playing it a ton back then, especially around Christmas break. One day, I was bored, so I decided again to make another Twitch account. Now, I had a microphone, but for some reason, I just didn't use it, and I lied about saying that I didn't have one. I think I was mostly scared of my friends in real life finding it and maybe using it against me to bully me, but if I really wanted to do it, then I decided to do it. So I did like 3 or 4 streams on Rocket League without a mic, and one of them is actually the Christmas Eve VOD on this YouTube channel, which I believe was the second one I did. However, these streams came to an end again, which I don't really know why, but I wasn't busy at all, so I don't really know why I stopped. However, I feel like maybe one possibility was that I was shy and eventually I would have to use my mic, and I didn't want this to be a reason why I possibly get bullied. However, around the spring of 2025, some personal events took place, and I'm not really going to say exactly what happened, but some people who I personally thought would expose me for streaming were not my friends anymore due to some other events. And at the same time, I had also made some other friends who were much nicer and actually supported the idea of me streaming and doing YouTube. So by the summer, I'd done some more research and created a new YouTube to post VODs and clips. And on July 12th, 2025, I was back on Twitch. That stream, I mainly just played some Roblox racing games, mainly roast off racing, and kind of just emphasized the way I was pretty unlucky in these games. The stream itself was okay. I brought in like 2 or 3 viewers, some of which were my friends. The next few streams were okay. However, I would see a bit of a build-up as I streamed and then posted my VODs to YouTube. I would slowly grow to 8 followers on Twitch and get up to 6 viewers on some streams. While this was very small, it was an improvement. On YouTube, the improvement showed much more, with one of my VODs reaching up to 33 views as of March 2026. The only thing that I didn't see was subscribers, as I only have about 3 at the time of this recording. One of those subs are my other Google account. However, in late July, I made a few mistakes that caused myself to indirectly stop YouTube and streaming. That being my original 2 streams where I ranked many different monster truck designs on tier list. The problem with this was that my plans after these 2 streams were to create a final tier list video that would rank the trucks in the very highest and very lowest categories to see which trucks were the very best and which trucks were the very worst. The issue here were the concepts and editing. I already had about 30 trucks across both lists to rank, and additionally, I would need to come up with a paragraph to explain what is so good or so bad about it. I additionally would need a lot of pictures, videos, background music, and overall the whole project would take up a lot of my time and space on my computer. Overall, the project was very overwhelming, and I have never done of anything of that size or ambition before. I also didn't know where to start, and to make things worse, in one of my VODs, I accidentally said that the video would be out in 1 to 2 weeks, so now I really had my hands tied behind my back. So unfortunately, I stopped YouTube and Twitch and left both empty until around now. Either way, in the meantime, I did have some thoughts about starting up again. However, I was very busy at the time due to school, sports, and other stuff in my life. However, around February 2026, I did feel a bit of an itch for Twitch and YouTube again. However, I was not very sure as I expected myself to stop again within 2 months. However, the idea had kept growing, and there were about 5 times I booted up OBS and I was about 1 click away from being back on Twitch, but I was worried again. Instead, I downloaded Metal and clipped some of my favorite game highlights from Rigs of Rods and Roblox and posted them to YouTube. The first clip to the time of this recording still has 0 views, but my next 2 both got 10 views, which was okay, but those 2 videos were enough to get me motivated again. So at the time of posting this, I would have returned to Twitch and done a live stream or 2, or I'm planning to at the time of posting this, which I plan right now to be a once a week thing. I can't guarantee that I will keep up with this at a good rate, but I hope the work I put into this video and the script would be enough for my motivation to keep this going, and for you to enjoy and maybe even subscribe. So thank you for watching.